Once on the brink of ecological collapse, Lake Wamala is reclaiming its vitality thanks to an unconventional community-driven strategy that restricts fishing to nighttime hours. Lake Wamala has long suffered under the weight of overfishing, pollution, and poor enforcement. According to the National Fisheries Resources Research Institute, or NAFIRI, the lake was meant to support 600 fishermen and boats. Today, however, it sustains over 3,000 fishermen, many of whom use illegal gear and unsustainable methods. In 2022, the situation became untenable. With fish stocks dwindling and livelihoods at risk, Mityana district authorities moved to impose a 6-month total fishing ban. This decision was met with fierce resistance from local leaders and fishermen. A second, more inclusive meeting produced a landmark agreement, a shift to nocturnal fishing. Elijah Senyonjo, Mityana District's fisheries officer, says this agreement allowed the lake to rest during daylight hours while keeping local economies afloat.
Fishermen are more manageable when you convince their opinion leaders. So we worked with the opinion leaders who constantly reminded them that it is necessary. Instead of closing this lake for 6 months without any income, let us agree to use only 12 hours, half of the time we are using. Definitely some people will not accept, and those are the ones they report to us and we arrest and destroy their gears and boats.
Still, Senyonjo acknowledges that enforcement alone is not enough.
You must keep the fisher folk in training to ensure that they don't forget. We spend most of the time, when we're not on the lake, we are drinking alcohol. So if you don't keep them reminded, they will forget very easily.
The results have been remarkable. According to Yasin Bira, Mityana District's Natural Resources Officer, Lake Wamala's annual fish catch has quadrupled.
From around 1,000 tons per annum to around 4,000 tons per annum. But before that intervention, the fish catch was less than 1,000 tons per annum.
Beyond fishing regulation, the authorities have also demarcated the lake's buffer zone with concrete pillars to prevent encroachment and to safeguard the wetlands on the shores that are critical breeding grounds for fish. However, while the night fishing strategy has borne fruit, enforcement challenges now threaten to undo the progress. Fishermen allege that officers from the Fisheries Protection Unit of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, deployed to guard the lake, have begun accepting bribes, allowing illegal daytime fishing to resume.
Those soldiers seem to be reintroducing banned fishing nets and selling them to the fishermen.
However, Senyonjo refutes these allegations, saying the military's presence has brought a degree of law and order on the lake.
What I know with fishermen, for the time I've been with them, they tend to resist any change. They thought those people had come to terrorize them, to beat them up. Incidentally, that's not the case. The introduction of the Fisheries Protection Unit, or the FPU, on water bodies was a presidential directive. It was not for Wamala.
Meanwhile, Bira calls on fishermen to embrace government economic empowerment programs to reduce their dependence on the lake.
Our intention was to help them get alternative income generating activities. And they told us to give them the initial capital, and the department could not afford that. So our advice was for them to get integrated into the existing government programs like a PDM and Yoga.
While diversifying income is essential, some fishermen claim they have been told that the parish development model funds are for farmers, not fishermen.
We thank the government for bringing a myoga, but it did not work for the fishermen. This landing site has over 40 fishermen, so you cannot say that you are giving 30 million shillings per sub-county. Even if you give people 1 million each, it cannot help us.
The night fishing strategy, born out of necessity, has proven that ecological recovery is possible when science, tradition, and community interests align. Sustaining that progress, though, will demand more than policies. It will require integrity in enforcement, empowerment of local voices, and a government that sees fishermen not as a threat, but as guardians of a lake that has sustained generations and, if protected, will sustain many more.